Hello, you guys, and thank you so much for tuning into my channel. So, I just wanted to make a hopefully short story time, but I'm such a motor mouth, I kind of know it's not going to be short. Now, before I get into this story, it's very important for me to just put it out there that in no way am I glorifying, promoting, or encouraging what I did. What I did was extremely stupid. And there's so many other girls out there who have done this or less and are no longer with us. So I want this to rather be something that we can all learn from. I know when I got involved in this situation, I was in a very dark place in my life. For so much of my transition, I needed other people to see it for me. I needed to feel validated by the world. I felt like I wanted to experience my femininity unchecked. Now, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be yourself, but it's so important that you are truthful and honest in all of your relations. Cool. So this was during 2020, 2021, when our planet got a cold. I was living in between Cape Town and the Eastern Cape, South Africa. So I would move back and forth. So my living situation was not, it wasn't secure. Now, at this time, I was staying at a hostel. There are a lot of youth hostels and backpackers in Cape Town. And I was in this one hostel. Now, I'm busy talking to the receptionist. We're having a great old time. It's at this time when a tourist comes in. So we're going to call him, he was French, so we're going to call him Thomas. So, I don't know. Thomas he was really, really cool. He was super tall, sandy blonde hair. He was just a big hunky guy. That's what I remember when he came in. He immediately made eye contact with me and we start, talking, and I could immediately tell that he was interested in me. Now, there had been a time in my transition when I did not look as feminine, when everyone and their mama could tell that I was trans, and I really, really felt almost attacked by the world. So many people, would make fun of me for transitioning. And although I felt that I was who I said that I was, there was a part of my reality, a part of my real lived experienced reality where, the world wasn't treating me as though I was a female. I was being treated as though I was an other. I was anything but. And I slowly started to develop this, deep-seated resentment towards one of my friends. Back in college, me and my friend, we would go out and she would have all of these sexual escapades. And I remember feeling jealous of how she was able to move through, certain spaces, move through the world and just be encouraged and validated as a female. And I felt by her being so openly promiscuous, it was a way that men were validating her. Girl, I was a mess when I was younger, but that's how I felt, girl. I wanted so badly for a cisgender, heterosexual, heteronormative, non-trans attracted men to pursue me. I felt that if they told me that I was beautiful, then I was finally proving a point not only to the world, but most importantly, to myself. So Thomas found me when I was really in a bad place emotionally, mentally, psychologically. And he was offering me the kind of validation, the kind of acceptance that I'd always needed and craved from society. Was it selfish that I didn't tell him? Definitely. It was completely selfish. It was completely selfish and stupid. Did I care at the time? Girl, I didn't. I was busy, downing the Jameson. I was busy with them shots, just 1, 2, 3, girl, 1, 2, 3. Now, in my transition, I'd come accustomed to binge drinking. And it was really sad because I was so afraid of how people were reacting to me and how people saw me, that when I would be out in a bar situation, I just wanted to get white girl wasted. When I was super, super intoxicated, there was another part of my personality that came to the surface. We're going to call that part of my personality, we're going to call it, what are we going to call it? Sapphire. Girl, Sapphire, she didn't give a damn about being clocked. She didn't care about how people saw her. She was confident and she would just go after anything she wanted. I so desperately wanted, parts of that personality. I didn't want all of the parts of my drunk self. But I enjoyed how confident the liquor would get me. So cool. That's not liquor, by the way. Cool. So me and Thomas, we're making out. And even at this point, I'd already gone too far. I had told myself that, I'm in control. I'm just going to let him kiss me and buy me drinks. And then I'm going to make an excuse and I'm going to dash and be gone. And and I won't see him because I knew he was only staying, I think, 2 nights. So that was my mentality. Girl. The liquor had a mentality of its own, and I remember passing out. Now, I don't know what happened between me being at the bar and me being in his room. But what I can, surmise from the situation, what I can gather from the situation is that my ass passed out and he took me to his bedroom to, continue the party as it will. This was an extremely vulnerable situation for me to be in. And it was only when he started undressing me that, he literally jumps up and he's like, oh my God, you have a fucking dick. He said it with a bit of an accent, but you get the gist of it. Girl, the soberness hit me like a ton of bricks. Any alcohol in my system, any atheism in my system, all of those things left. And I was left in a situation where I'm alone in a bedroom with this person. And I could potentially be in a very, very dangerous situation. So, girl, I just looked at him and I was like, oh, I thought you knew. I thought we talked about this. Girl, I played ignorant, hoping that if I was calm, if I was cool, if I was collected, he wasn't going to freak out more. Because I don't know this fool. Girl, I don't know if it was the liquor. I don't know if your girl looked good that day. But, we continue making out. And then other things happen. And he ends up going to bed. It's at this point that I go to bed too. At about 3 in the morning, I remember waking up, and there was this French man next to me. And I was looking at the door, and all I wanted to do was to jump out of bed and to sprint to that door and then run down the passage and hopefully not see him again. That's all that I wanted. I knew that I'd fucked up essentially, and I knew I was in a bad situation, in a bad place. So I try getting out from the covers. Tell me why this man wakes up. He literally wakes up, and he wasn't nasty. He wasn't mean. He wasn't anything bad. Quite the opposite. He was really sweet. He asked if everything was okay, and he wanted to know why I was leaving. So I had to make up some excuse about how, I just want to wake up in my own bed. He was understanding, and he just asked me if we were still going to have breakfast in the morning. Facing him in the morning, having breakfast with him, and facing the truth and reality of what I'd done was not something that I was ready for, especially not at that point in my life, not at that point where I was. I just kissed him on the cheek, and I told him, yeah, of course, I'll see you in, at breakfast. Girl, I locked myself in my room. I did not see Thomas that day or the other day. And I remember when he left, there was this feeling of relief, because the entire 2 nights that he had stayed there, I felt uneasy. I honestly felt uneasy, because a lot of these guys, they might get into situations like this with girls like us and realize later or feel that they've been deceived. And I didn't want this dude snapping on me, and I knew that I'd placed myself in a situation where that was an actual reality. In my head, initially, I may have thought that being hit on or being pursued by these types of men was what I wanted, but the reality was so different. It was so different. I want you guys to not make the same hood rat dumb shit mistakes that I made in my early transition. There's so many things I wish I could have taken back, and that has to be one of them. Girl, when he jumped out of bed and asked me, and he was like, shit, you have a dick, those words remain in my head. I can't get that phrase out of me. And that was kind of a sobering experience just for life in general. Now I tell everyone and their grandmama, if I'm interested in them, I will let you know. I don't need guys to tell me that I'm pretty, because if you need other people to tell you that you are a woman, if you need other people to tell you that you are gorgeous or that you are desirable, you are lacking within yourself, and no amount of sex is ever going to heal that. Go argue with your ancestors. Anyways, I love you. Like, comment, subscribe if you care. Bye.